taking the victory lap here with our boy Big T. Massive takedown PGA last night. Shipped the Millie.
The Twins got the job done for our boy Hoop. Won him $100K. Won him a live final seat.
JSU shipped $200K on, I think, just $1,000 worth of entries. He had a monster night.
Anytime we see members crush like this, we're excited.
Last night, one of our most loyal subscribers from the beginning, Jay Love, took down $20K.
I want to give a shout out to Redmen, who won over $50,000 on opening day.
Blind Bandit took down the $100,000 top prize.
We had someone win a live final seat.
It was one of those days where it's like going 5x or 10x on your money. It wasn't enough to get enough love in the Discord.
Record 62 took down the Millie Maker.
I don't even know if this heater's ever going to end.
Some of these other sites are just boring you to death.
I like how other sites nickel and dime you for every penny they can get.
Tons of the members have given tickets and membership on their own. Like, we're not telling them to do that. They're just doing it for good mojo.
You love to see it. We love the good mojo. And
the mojo is what the mojo is.
I give you credit for still having that hat on. We appreciate it.
Wait till we ship tonight. I might never take it off.
What are we doing here? Welcome to the RPS Best Ball Show. I'm your host today, JSU. I'm taking over for Bobby Gomes. He's out. I'm in with my boy Puma Khan and Snyder, giving you the hot takes here. We're going to be talking about the latest news in best ball, mainly focusing on Underdog and the Best Ball Mania 2 contest that they got over at Underdog. If you haven't checked it out, get over there, check it out. $25 to enter. They got a massive prize pool, $1 million to first place. It's going to be pretty good. We got a promo code running right now. It'll get you $25. Pretty much just a free ticket into the best ball. If you sign up, use the promo code RUNPURE, and you'll get $25. So pretty much a free entry into the Best Ball Mania 2 draft. Just put right into your account right when you sign up. So use the promo code RUNPURE to get that. But let's bring on our boys here. We got Snyder. Snyder, what's going on, man?
Hey, what's going on? Just getting done with some preseason. We did really well there. I mean, I'm getting pretty antsy for this 2-week wait we got here, but it'll go by quick, I think, and we'll be able to get in some more of these best balls as we are waiting our time.
Yeah, I mean, I haven't been able to hop on any of these shows with you guys to this point, but I've been able to get in some drafts with you guys, so at least I kind of have a decent idea of some of your takes, and Snyder, I know me and you have went back and forth in the Discord a little bit, so we have kind of an idea of where each other feel on our takes. Simon, I've done a few drafts with you too. I know you're a little all over the place because you're heavy into the best ball. I mean, how many drafts have you done, Simon?
Oh God, I've done over 300 at this point, like just a shitload.
Yeah, so are we maxed out in certain contests or not yet?
Right now, I am just about maxed out on the $25 Best Ball Mania on Underdog, and I am pretty close to maxed out on the DraftKings one too. And then there was a $5 one that I maxed out, one of the puppies on Underdog. But yeah, just been drafting the shit out of it, basically.
So just to be clear, we're talking like almost 450 drafts. By the time he maxes out that 25, and we're talking about over 400 drafts for Simon. Yeah. So the guy's a seasoned veteran. He knows what he's doing. He's been doing it. He's been doing it too this entire time. He is a drafter from when it starts. I'm talking in May probably. And he's been through it this entire time through all the news, which is always good to have a perspective because Simon, as you know, and we all know, even if you haven't drafted, things change in the NFL as that season happens, right? And as we get to the season, and we're getting to a point where preseason is now fully done. We're all done with the games, guys. We've got our unfortunate injuries that we're going to have to talk about, yearly injuries, right, to a few big name guys. It happens every year. People draft, people got their season-long drafts. We've been doing best balls. And then they're like, shit, I got 40% of J.K. Dobbins, and now all those people are bummed. And they're drafting Gus Edwards in the 4th and 5th round now. And I just don't, especially in best ball, guys. And this is where I want to start, because I did one draft since the J.K. Dobbins injury. And I did it specifically because I just wanted to see where Gus Edwards was going to land. My idea and thought when I went into the draft was, I'm not going to touch him. I just want to see where he goes. Now, me personally, I already have like a ton of Gus Edwards. He was one of those key guys. And Simon, we talked about this with running back rooms, where I was really in the camp of, I think Gus Edwards could get a decent amount of volume. Even if J.K. Dobbins was a good fantasy producer, I still thought he could get like 40% of the workload there. I thought that was very reasonable for him before the Dobbins injury. So I was high on him going in the, anywhere from 10 to 12 range, Simon, in rounds he was kind of going around?
Yeah, around there. I think around between 120 to 130 ADP, I think is about where he was falling most of the time.
Yeah, so right around there, and I thought that was a great pick before the Dobbins injury. So I get into that draft, and we get into the end of the 4th round, and he goes off the board, and I'm just stunned. Just absolutely stunned. I don't even understand, and I'm talking about it in the Best Ball 2 Mania draft, where we've already got thousands of drafts happened in this tournament. And he's went in the 10th, 11th, maybe sometimes the 12th round. Well, what are people doing drafting him in the 4th round now? I don't get it. And I talked about this with the Darrell Henderson thing. I tried to get our guy Title. I don't mean to bash Title because he's not here. I'm going to try not to do it that much. But damn it, it was the same thing with the Darrell Henderson thing. I don't know why people were taking him in the 4th round. It was just because Sean McVay is great with the running backs. I understand running backs. They do really well in his offense. I personally think it has a little something to do with the fact that Jared Goff was pretty much, Sean McVay held his hand through those years with Jared Goff, literally was like telling him where to go. It's just, so to me, I'm not convinced that the running backs are going to be as productive, because I think Sean McVay is going to let Matthew Stafford be way more aggressive passing wise when they get into that red zone area. That's just my opinion personally. Just a guess too on top of it. But I honestly think Jared Goff, the way he struggled was why they ran the ball so much down there. They just needed to make sure Jared Goff kind of didn't make too many mistakes down there. But not to get too off track. So I'm assuming you guys have done best ball drafts since the J.K. Dobbins injury. Where has he gone in your drafts? Because I've seen him in the end of 4th round.
I've only done one since, and he went in I think it was right at the end of the 5th round in the one I went in. And I'm a little hesitant on, I'm a Ravens fan or whatever, but I'm a little hesitant on Edwards even here. I don't expect him to take like this 3x, 2x leap of usage here, even though I still view him as that change of pace guy. I really don't see him being that guy that's going to be like an every down ball carrier. I still view him in that same view. I think Tyson Williams, another guy I'm high on, preseason guy, I think he's going to come in and he's going to have his share. I could see even a guy like Justice Hill working in a few times. I think this is going to be more of like a cluttered running back by committee type deal here, unless they go out and sign a new guy off the streets, which I can't rule that out as well. but I was impressed enough with this Tyson Williams over this preseason that I think he strongly deserves a crack at this job. I mean, he had over 130. He had 131 yards on 24 attempts this preseason, and he caught all 8 of his targets in the passing game. So he's shown that versatility that he can play both sides in that. So I really hope that they give him that chance to at least have a chance in this offense this year.
Simon, what do you think, and what have you seen with Gus Edwards?
With Gus, I haven't really paid attention to where he was going because I usually am paying more attention to my rankings. And by the time we even get to where I would have him ranked, he's already gone. And I wouldn't touch him until probably after, the Trey Sermons of the world and the Mosterts are gone. Like right in that range. I think the situation definitely, obviously, is he's going to get a lot more run than he would have before. But I don't think it's enough run to push him past the guys like Sermon and Mostert and even Gaskin or Edmonds and those types of guys. But I like Williams a lot though, because Williams is a guy, he hasn't been drafted throughout the entire existence of the Best Ball Mania so far this season. So you got a guy like that's kind of coming out of nowhere. You're not hurting yourself by getting exposure to a guy like that in the 10th or 11th round or wherever he's going to end up. Right now, you can still get him in like the 18th round, 19th round for DraftKings or whatever. But so you can still get him towards the end of the draft. That's a guy I'd much rather target. I'd be targeting him probably up until he hits maybe the 12th or 13th rounds, honestly. But you can still get him at a value. He's still a value rounds 13 through 18, I'd say.
Yeah. So the one thing I will say about Gus, specifically when it comes to the rotation, is I do kind of agree with Snyder. I think what's going to happen in this offense is clearly he's the one that they'll trust the most, right? So he's going to get the first crack with the offense right off the bat. He's going to get the goal line work because he is a big, stronger type running back. He runs really physical. He runs stronger. He's physical. So I think he has a lot of touchdown equity for sure. I do think Tyson, like Snyder said, is going to challenge him for early down work. And then what I think is going to happen is Justice Hill is going to challenge for third down work and be possibly that third down receiving type back when they're in, decent long and distance in the field and third down. So I think that's what could happen. The only other thing that would kind of mess that thought up is Todd Gurley did visit that team earlier this season, I'm pretty sure. Nothing ever happened. He didn't, they didn't sign him or anything. But could they revisit that? He's already been to see them. Is it possible that they sign a Todd Gurley or someone like him that's just, not there right now? I wouldn't rule it out either. So we kind of have to see what happens. But obviously, if things stay the way they are, I do agree with you that Tyson is an interesting get in the 18th round because, like you said, no one's drafted him. So you don't have to worry about teams, now he's going in the 10th round and teams have been getting him in the 18th round. And that's what you should worry about if you're drafting in this $25 Best Ball Mania too. Because we've already been drafting, it's already over 3/4 of the way filled. So now we have already 3/4 of the way filled, and he's been going in the 10th, 11th round. So those teams with Gus Edwards are much better probably than the teams that are drafting him in the 5th round. That's just the reality of the situation, and I would stay away from it. That's just my personal opinion. Simon said it too. Guys like Mostert, you're taking Mostert over him. You're taking Sermon. You're taking Robinson and all those guys. Even though Robinson's even another guy that I personally will stay away from. He's in that same boat where I was getting him in the 8th, 9th round. It's going a little earlier now. I'm going to stay away. I already got my Robinson shares. I'm going to chalk my hands good of him too. So this is something that I like to do when I see this news happen. I won't reach. Darrell Henderson was the same way. I stay away. Do either of you guys have any interest? Well, Simon, you talked about it more. Snyder, you have some interest in Gus Edwards, you said?
No, I had been drafting him some previous, but just like you, like when that Darrell Henderson news broke, I had enough of him, I felt, and I wasn't going to be following the chain to there. I was just going to, like you said, just watch your hands clean of him. Same thing with Gus Edwards here. I mean, with that James Robinson news, I think that's different, I think, because he shows such more upside as his rookie year. He had over 1,000 yards rushing as a rookie. I feel like he could take a step forward in this new offense. I think Urban Meyer might have some better play calls and schemes for him. So I'm not sure what I'm going to do with him yet. I haven't really been in that situation much yet, but with these other two for sure.
Well, that is something me and you are going to disagree on. You think Urban Meyer has got some interesting plays for? I'll tell you right now, I think Urban Meyer is going to drive that team into the ground quicker. I'm going to bet this. So I think first of all, the Jags are going to be terrible. Urban Meyer is going to try not to fuck up Trevor Lawrence, one of the best prospects we've seen in a long time, blah, blah, blah. He's going to mess it up. I'm just going to tell you right now, I'm sorry if people are Jags fans, they're big Lawrence fans. It's not Lawrence. I'm telling you right now, this is not going to be good. Urban Meyer is not the right coach, I don't think anyways, that's going to take this team anywhere personally. So I don't love the Jags guys as much. It kind of, for me, just to start the season, I dropped all the Jags guys down a peg. I didn't really want to draft them. The only guy I was drafting actually from them was when James Robinson was an extreme value when ETN was still healthy, because I thought that James Robinson was going to be the starter. And if I could get a starter in the 8th or 9th round, I'm fine with that. And then Marvin Jones, because everyone and their mother was drafting Laviska Shenault, and Marvin Jones was like the forgotten guy before the preseason started. And then the preseason started, and people are like, oh, crap, Marvin Jones might have a little role in this offense, even though Laviska's looked pretty good too. But I just think in the end, I'm not going to be in love. I'm not going to reach on Jags players. And this goes into what we wanted to talk about was kind of our mindset when it comes to these best balls. And the way I come into it looking is I want to target teams, obviously, that I think could have explosive offenses and a lot of fantasy points. Guys, teams that can, pump out a ton of fantasy points, not vanilla offenses that I think are going to run the football, third and long, put their young quarterback into bad positions where they got to kind of struggle and get out of it constantly. And that's where I think the Jaguars are going to struggle is I think they're going to put Trevor Lawrence in too many positions where he's trying to just dig them out. And when you start to do that, your quarterback's going to start to force things because he's not used to it. This guy is the golden boy, right? He comes out. He was like the best thing in college. He's not going to be used to that, and he's going to get put in those situations more. We saw it with Andrew Luck. We saw even Peyton Manning went through his struggles that first year. It's going to happen regardless. I just think people aren't actually looking at it that way, though. And that's what I want. I want offenses that are proven. We can obviously talk about the obvious offenses like the friggin' Chiefs. I think the Chargers are going to be much improved. But those are the offenses that I want to target. And then when we talk about specific positions, I want to target offenses from a running back standpoint that I know are going to pound the football and are efficient running the football. Cleveland Browns, San Francisco 49ers. I think the Patriots are going to be really efficient running the football, even though we don't know who's going to start. But either way, I think you're going to see heavy doses of running the football. Those are teams that I want to target in best ball, especially because I don't have to actually, with like the Patriots and the San Francisco, where we could see multiple running backs getting it done. Simon, me and you have talked about this. I can do the backfield share thing on my team, And then it's not like DraftKings or FanDuel or DFS where I got to worry about, oh, I picked the wrong running back. Nope. I can take one and then take another later, and I don't have to worry about picking the wrong running back because I know they're going to run the ball 25 times a game. Simon, what do you think?
Yeah, I agree. Like, I think you want to target those efficient backfields, and I don't hate, like drafting two from the same backfield that we know is going to get a ton of use either. Especially, you mentioned the Browns. I'm more fading the Browns, but I kind of lean towards Denver, San Francisco. Like those types of running games. San Francisco we know is going to be pretty explosive. And we saw glimpses of what that offense potential has, like in the preseason game 3, when we saw Trey Lance get in there and him and Mostert were just tearing it up. So I think there's a lot of potential with the San Francisco backfield. I think you can't really go wrong drafting either of those running backs. I've kind of shied away from Cleveland's running backs just because the same reason why I shy away from Derrick Henry this year, just because they need to put up like 2,000. Like Chubb would need to put up like 2,000 yards and like 10 touchdowns just to hit it like a first round value. I'd say like or like a top 5 value, which is what I'm looking for if I'm drafting a running back in the first round or like midway through the second round. I'm kind of looking for that top 5 potential. So that's why I've mainly been going wide receiver. I try to get a running back in one of those rounds just because if you wait until after the 3rd or 4th round and you're starting your running backs there, you end up with kind of a slim pickings, like for what you can draft in those areas. You're just kind of trying to hit for Javonte Williams or Trey Sermon or Mostert or a guy like that and hope that he just ends up with a big year. I was hitting a lot of ETN. Obviously, that did not work out well for me. Like he was a big target of mine for drafting, wide receiver, and then waiting till the 5th round or so before I was hitting running back. But now the 5th round is very, very slim, so I'm definitely trying to get a running back in one of those first couple rounds if I can. If it's the first half of the draft, then I think you're pretty good. You got like 5 at least good options that you can draft in that first part of the draft. If you're in the back end of the draft, there's a lot of value in the back end of the draft too. Obviously, you got Barkley, who's still hovering in there, Jonathan Taylor, who I think is a good option in the early 2nd round, and then you got guys like Gibson and Eckler, who I also like. I can see the the case for Chubb for sure. I just haven't been leaning there.
Yeah, and what I want to just say about the Cleveland situation, because I've got pushback on this before, and I just want to say this is what I'm talking about here. You're talking about last year, these two starting running backs combined, Kareem Hunt and Nick Chubb, they ran the ball 388 times. 388 times. Nick Chubb played 12 games. Kareem Hunt played 16. Nick Chubb got very unlucky, in my opinion, because he had a lot of big runs that those big runs he didn't finish, and then Kareem Hunt would come in because he just ran like 60 yards chugging down the field, and then Kareem Hunt would come in and punch it in. I feel like that happened even more times than I think, but I know it's happened a few times last year. And then on top of it, he didn't get the full 16-game workload. If he did, he's probably sitting at closer to, 270-ish attempts, somewhere around there, maybe a little bit more. And I think the touchdowns are higher. And the touchdowns were pretty high last year. 12, I think he had 12 in 12 games, I'm pretty sure was the number. So if Nick Chubb plays a full season, honestly, the upside is crazy to me, because I think this dude could have 15 to 20 touchdowns if he played a full season behind that offensive line with one extra game. I don't think that's crazy. I don't. For a team that rushes the ball efficiently, their defense is actually improved too on top of it. So I think they're going to play with a lead even more than they did last year, even in this tough division. And I don't know. I think the Cleveland running back, specifically Nick Chubb, is a guy I love. Snyder, let's let you get in here. Talk a little bit about, maybe give your thoughts on Cleveland, because, you know, we've talked about them a little bit. Give your thoughts, and then anyone else that you're targeting.
Yeah, with that Cleveland Browns deal there, I see both sides of this deal. I mean, I'm not actively targeting them, but if there's value that I think, I'm going to select them. Like, I do have a little worry about the Browns. Like, they just signed Chubb to that big deal. I have a little bit of worry about them wanting to push the limits on him. I mean, I could see them kind of holding him back for the later time of the year as the playoffs and the more impactful games come. So that's what gives me a little bit of a pause there, because they got Demetric Felton there too, another guy that could see passing down work, or they've been putting him at receiver some too. I mean, that kind of gives me a little worry there. But I mean, if you're going to get a good value on him, I'm not opposed to that. One of the things I've seen is that Denver Broncos running game. I'm pretty high on Javonte Williams. He's one of my higher owned running backs. And with this Teddy Bridgewater taking over at quarterback, what I've seen from him so far in this preseason is he's looking to check down to these running backs at a really high rate, I feel. And I think that their passing upside is really high this year, because he's more, Bridgewater's more of like a low A dot guy. I mean, he's going to be looking to complete the balls. He's generally been in like that high 60s, low 70s completion percentage. I mean, he doesn't push the ball down the field that much. So I think that's definitely going to help these running backs some. And like a guy like a Fant and a Judy, I think they're going to benefit off that as well. So I'm looking at that, and I agree with you on that Patriots running back. I like Damian Harris. I'm pretty high on him as well. That's about, I mean, I like the 49ers as well. I mean, I thought it was interesting. I seen Mostert was out there all 10 plays in that first series. He got every 10 play in that first series when they were pushing those quarterbacks in and out. He was the main guy. Look there. I still think Sermon's going to get his role, but it was interesting to see Mostert get all that. And I seen a stat. Mostert has more. He has gained 5 yards or more on a carry on 43% last year, and that was the highest recorded ever, which is interesting stat. I mean, he's definitely got that high gear. I mean, he can break some big plays and such.
Yeah, Mostert is a big play waiting to happen. Mostert's problem is he needs to stay on the field. That's the problem with Mostert. If you guaranteed me 16 games, I'd draft him in the 4th round. I wouldn't even look twice. I'd draft him in the 3rd probably. I would draft him. I would draft him way higher than what he's going right now. He is such a good running back behind such a good line. Kyle Shanahan, their running scheme. That is an absolute steal at where people are getting him. The problem is, and I think it's kind of baked into where he's going, I think everyone's a little afraid of Trey Sermon maybe a little bit, and the fact that he has yet to show that he can stay on the field for, a full season. He just hasn't done it. So we'll see if he can do it, but I love him. He's a great pick where he's fallen in drafts right now. So I agree with you on that. And Javonte Williams, he is my highest owned running back. I have the most shares of Javonte Williams. I love him. I agree with you that from a passing standpoint, I think this Teddy Bridgewater news gives him a massive bump in the check down game, because Drew Lock wants to throw the ball down the field. Teddy Bridgewater, he wants to check down. We all know this. We've seen Teddy, play. We already know what he is and what he wants to do. It's going to affect Courtland Sutton, in my opinion. It's going to affect Noah Fant because he uses the running backs for check downs. The tight ends, not as much. So for me, I downgraded Courtland Sutton. I downgraded Noah Fant. And Javonte Williams, I loved already. I didn't upgrade him, though. The reason is because I think it might hurt the offense as a whole, because I don't know if the offense is going to be as efficient as I think it would be with Drew Lock in the down the field passing game. I don't trust Teddy to be able to, put together drive after drive down the field. What's going to happen when he gets in those 3rd and longs? Like, the checkdowns aren't going to do it. Like, you're going to need to be able to show that you can throw the ball down the field. I hope I'm wrong, because I already have like 75% Javonte Williams. I'm not going backwards now. I'm standing my ground on him, but it scares me. I really thought, and I want your guys' opinion on this, I really thought Drew Lock was going to be the quarterback. I don't know, Snyder. I would have put bets in with anyone that he was going to win that starting quarterback job.
I was talking to Title about this, probably a week before it happened, and I was actually back in Teddy Bridgewater because I thought he was the safer guy. I mean, he can.
Well, good thing I didn't bet you then.
Yeah, he's not going to wow you with all his down the field, but he's going to take care of the ball more. He's going to. I think they're going to be more kind of like almost like a Patriots offense where they just slowly move the ball down the field and tick and tack their way down there.
That's not what we want, though. We don't want the slow-moving offense with all those friggin' weapons, and they're going to be, check down here, run. You know what it's going to be, too? It's going to be 1st down run, 2nd down run, 3rd down, check that, oh, God, it's going to be the worst thing ever for, Cortland Sutton and Jerry Jeudy.
It's going to be bad for that, but, is it going to be better than Drew Lock throwing a couple 10-yard passes, and then on 3rd down he's firing an interception? He's going to throw 3 or 4 interceptions a game. That's the reasoning I had with Bridgewater.
Yeah. The risk reward, though.
Yeah.
I think Drew Lock gives you this is the perfect way to envision this. Teddy Bridgewater is the safe choice. I do not argue that. Drew Lock is the risk reward type. You could be, one of the better teams in the AFC with that defense and all those offensive weapons if, he develops more and pays off with his style of quarterback play. Mm-hmm. He could also be the reason why you sit at, 8-9 or whatever it is, or 7-10, and you're just sitting there, mediocre team. Because that defense is going to be good, and their talent on offense, honestly, you can put their talent with just about anyone. And besides the quarterback, take the quarterback out. That talent they got there, I'd take that talent on my team any day of the week. They got almost every position covered. Their offensive line maybe needs a little work. I don't think it's as bad maybe as people see it as, but, Simon, what did you think about the Teddy Drew thing?
I think that Denver's management just doesn't know what they're doing, honestly, because having Bridgewater and Locke is like racing a Yugo and a Pinto, and they had an opportunity to draft a guy like Fields or Mac Jones in the draft, and they passed on both those dudes, and then they weren't able to pull off a trade for one of the major quarterbacks that's out there. So they completely fucked it up, and now they're in a situation where they're stuck with Teddy Bridgewater as their quarterback. And to go with Bridgewater was a bad decision to begin with because he didn't really outperform Drew Lock in the preseason. And Lock, on top of that, is the young guy that they drafted. They should give him the opportunity to screw it up before they hand it over to Bridgewater, I think. And it's just like they have all the weapons that are built for more of a Lock type of quarterback, and they're going to put freaking Teddy Bridgewater in there. It's like I don't know what the hell they're thinking. And it's not like Drew Lock did anything to screw it up during the preseason or this offseason to lose that job to Bridgewater. I think let him start the season and then lose the job during the season. It's not like they're going to be contending for anything this season. You know what I mean? So I just think they've been making bad decisions all around with the quarterback position, and it's just not good for the weapons. And I say that as a guy who's been drafting the weapons all off season in hopes that
put your bias into it. That's fine. We'll allow it on this show. You drafted almost 450 drafts. You can put your bias into your take.
Yeah. I have a shitload of Cortland Sutton because he was going in the ninth round pretty much for most of his offseason. He's been climbing up recently as it's been coming out that he's getting a little more stable on his knee. He's starting to get comfortable again. And, obviously we know the type of downfield talent that a guy like Sutton has. And Judy has looked spectacular in camp, and he's looking like he's going to be a second-year breakout. So I'm pretty excited to see what happens with him. But, to give them Teddy Bridgewater, the only good thing I can say about Bridgewater is that he did support a couple 1,000-yard receivers last year in Carolina. But at the end of the day, it's Bridgewater. The thing with him too, if you're holding out for hope for Locke, is Bridgewater isn't exactly the most durable guy. So it's possible that at some point in the season he's going to miss a few games, and Drew Lock will come in, and you get a couple good weeks with those weapons. But ultimately, I think Bridgewater is like a downgrade for the offense, just like you guys.
Yeah, I mean, Teddy Bridgewater, last year, he played 15 games, so almost every game, and, 15 touchdowns and 11 interceptions. I mean, is that what we want in this Denver offense? I mean, that's not great for the weapons. I'll tell you that right now. I mean, the yardage was there. He threw for 3,700 yards. Okay, that's fine. But, I don't know. It just screams like they're playing not to be the best. They're playing to just kind of be in it, right? Or try to be in it. And I'm sorry, but in a division with the Chiefs and the Chargers, that's not going to win it. It's not going to win it. You got to go for everything. And I think you have the right style of team to compete with those teams because of that defense, because of all the coverage you're going to be able to have. So many good. They got great safety play. They've got tons of corner depth, pass rush with Von Miller back and Chubb. They've got the right tools to contend with some of the better teams and give some of the better teams fits on one side of the ball. And then they've got so much talent on the other end. It's sad that they paired Teddy with it. I just doesn't, in the end, it's going to be boring, which sucks for any best ball shares that you probably have of any of these guys. But hey, what are you going to do? You can just take the news, and I think we all agree kind of bumps most of these guys down just a little bit, right? I'll still draft Jerry Jeudy or, Cortland Sutton if I get a decent value on him, but I'm not in love with the pick anymore. I was in love with drafting Jerry Jeudy, but, when I thought Drew Lock was going to be the guy. Not as happy with it now. So anything else that we're missing, boys? I know, we want to get into one of these Best Ball Mania 2 drafts on Underdog at some point in the next few minutes. If you guys didn't hear at the beginning of the show and you just started watching, promo code right now we're running for Underdog. Run Pure is the promo code. You can sign up and you'll get $25 free right in your account for you to use. All you got to do is use the promo code Run Pure and you'll get it. So check that out. The Best Ball 2 Mania draft. It's still not filled yet. $1 million to first place. So pretty nice prize pool. We got Snyder, who's been in those drafts a ton. Simon's almost, max entered it. And, I've gotten, I think about 25 or 30 drafts in. My goal is to get anywhere from 40 to 50. So I'm close there. I'm going to finish them out in the next, 10 days or so. But boys, anything else we wanted to cover here, Simon?
I think Jameis Winston, that situation is a very interesting situation. That's another QB battle where, at least from the way that I was drafting, and I know Snyder was high on Winston too, it worked out in our favor. I've had Kamara basically ranked as number 3 ever since the Michael Thomas news came out. A lot of people were anticipating Taysom Hill to win that quarterback battle. But, if you've been following Winston throughout the offseason, you can tell that, he's really taken control of that team. He's won the team over. He's doing stuff with them off the field. He was training with them before camp started and all that kind of stuff. So Winston really took a step forward this season with his leadership, but also the big thing is the LASIK surgery that nobody talks about. Like, he got LASIK freaking surgery on his eyes, which played a big role on why he was. I believe it played a huge role on why he was throwing so many interceptions and stuff like that, because it's a huge issue if you're not seeing 20/20 down the field. Like, just to get that surgery was, when I first heard that he had those eye problems, I was like, okay, that explains, like a big part of it. And when he got the surgery, it showed that he was taking initiative to to take control of his career a little bit. He ended up in New Orleans, obviously, and he's in a great situation as far as having great coaching and stuff like that, some great weapons around him. Well, I guess Kamara, and then some scrub wide receivers, but like, he showed last year that he can connect deep downfield with Traquan in the playoff game, and then Callaway's been stepping up this offseason and stuff. So the receiving weapons aren't great right now, but he's still got Kamara. He's got great coaching, and I think that Winston could surprise this season.
Yeah, so interesting. Snyder with another quarterback call apparently on Jameis Winston. Very nice. I didn't really know, and that was a spot where a lot of talk on Taysom, a lot of talk on James. I just kind of stayed away from it, like, because I really was unsure of which one. I didn't have a strong opinion on, okay, this guy's definitely going to win, so I wasn't drafting either of them, just kind of, for the most part, staying away. I will say, though, no matter what they say, when they get down into the goal line situation, do not be shocked if Taysom runs onto that field and takes a snap on 1st and goal, because Sean Payton paid Taysom. He loves Taysom. So just because he's not the starting quarterback, that don't mean he ain't going to get some short yardage goal line work. I mean, he was already talking about saying how he wants to play quarterback and all this stuff. It's probably because Sean Payton ended up telling him, hey, if you don't get it, like, we're going to use you in these other spots, and he's probably not happy about it. But that's how the Saints are going to use him, and I'm just saying it right now. It might affect Jameis a little bit, but where you're drafting Jameis anyways, it doesn't matter that much. But I am going to say that will come into play, right? Like, short yardage, Taysom will be in the game, whether he's the running back or the QB just taking the ball, snap, and diving for the end zone. That's a whole nother thing. But Snyder, talk about Winston and what you were thinking originally, and then what happened, obviously.
Yeah, I think there's definitely going to be those Taysom packages still. I mean, Peyton's still going to want to get his guy out there that he's got all that admiration for. But with Jameis, I mean, with this division and everything, they're going to need to score points in this. I mean, they're going to need to push the ball down the field. I mean, Jameis is never afraid to let that ball take off. And, I mean, he showed a lot of upside, I feel, and that old Jason we saw, but he was more accurate in this preseason. I mean, Callaway's been his main target. That second game where he targeted him 5 times, had 5 catches for 104 yards and 2 touchdowns. I mean, that kind of sent Callaway's stock rising quite a bit, but I think Callaway's a great receiver for Winston. I mean, he's got that speed. He can catch the ball at the high point. I really like his spots going forward. But just with Jameis, yeah, I figured if they were going to want to win some of these shootouts, I mean, they were going to have to push the ball down the field. They can't be – I mean, Taysom, he was more like a Drew Brees guy where he was going to kind of dink and dunk it and run their power running game and such. And another guy that's interesting for the Saints here is that Tony Jones Jr. I feel like he's putting quite a bit of pressure on Lat Murray and even Freeman, who they just picked up this offseason. I mean, he started ahead of Murray in that second game. He showed a lot of upside. He's got good bursts. He had over 100 yards on 12 carries this preseason. So I think he's like the guy that could be taking over that second RB role there.
Yeah, I agree with you. I did want to get you guys' stance on the Callaway thing, because In preseason, this happens all the time. Guy goes out there, catches 2 touchdowns, looks great. He has the connection with the guy who just gets named starting quarterback, whenever it was the next day or whatever. And now he's going, a few rounds earlier in drafts, obviously, with people seeing that on TV, seeing the connection with the quarterback. Snyder, it seems like you're just in on him in general. Do you still think he's a good buy where he's going?
Yeah, I still like him quite a bit. I mean, they don't really have anyone else. I mean, I'm really against Traquan Smith. I mean, he had some flashes there, but I just don't think he has what it takes in this offense. And then that injury to Troutman as well. I mean, that's going to raise the stock of a guy like Juwan Johnson, but I think that's also going to benefit Callaway. I mean, they got little Jordan Humphrey there too, who showed some good upside this preseason, but I just really don't think they have much there. I think Callaway's their biggest threat downfield until, like week 7, 8, 9, when Michael Thomas will return.
Simon, just quickly, what's your take on the Callaway?
I'm not so worried about shifts in ADP when the guys are going from 18th round to like 10th round or something like that. It's not nearly as bad as a guy going from 14th round to the 5th round or 3rd round or something like that. Because your opportunity cost is, it's less significant in that situation. And I'd been drafting Callaway in the 18th round, like earlier in the season, because Thomas was not showing up to practice and stuff like that. And you were getting word, like back then it was like, do I draft Deontay Harris or do I draft Callaway, for a Saints receiver? And I was drafting pretty much an even amount of both those guys, when I could, not like a huge amount. I got probably like 7% of them, but when you're in the situation now where he's climbing into the 10th round, you just got to kind of think, is there other receivers that are going in this round that I want more than Callaway, basically? And if you think Callaway can outperform the guys that are going in that round, I mean, I'd prefer like Elijah Moore, who's been going around the same ADP, like a couple rounds earlier than he was going a few months ago or whatever. Like guys like that, I'd prefer to draft over Callaway at this point. But yeah, I mean, I don't fault anybody for drafting him. If he starts to climb like too much into the single digit rounds, then I wouldn't bother with him.
Yeah, so for me personally, I think people are missing the boat on Traquan. I think everyone's undervalued or forgetting about him. He's just like the forgotten guy just because he's missed some practice. We got to remember, this dude's been in this offense for a while. He knows this offense well. He's been around. Sean Payton obviously likes him. He is going to be the lead guy when he comes back. He's going to be. And Callaway, they listen, the Saints can handle supporting with Jameis Winston as quarterback. They can support 2 receivers in that offense, for sure, no doubt. So it's not like I'm saying Callaway won't still be productive. I just think if Traquan and Callaway are both healthy, and Traquan is the number 1 guy, it won't be Callaway. That's my opinion. I think Traquan's also a little better. I think he'll do a little better possession. I think he's a pretty good route runner that people don't, maybe kind of forget about, or just because they had Michael Thomas and he never really had to be that main guy, right? Because they had Michael Thomas and Alvin Kamara and all the other weapons they've had throughout the years. Remember last year they had Emmanuel Sanders, and I mean, he didn't get the ball a ton, but he was open a lot. It was just that at some points, because Taysom was the quarterback, it was tougher to get him the ball on deep pass. I can remember deep routes where he was wide open and the ball was just horrendously thrown multiple times last year. It wasn't like he wasn't open. It's just like the quarterback play is going to play a lot into it. And I think with Winston there, it's going to be fine to have 2 receivers. So you could draft them both, right? That's a cheap stack that you can get. You want to go into stacking in best ball, but right there, boom, Traquan, Callaway. You could draft both those guys and draft Jameis. When's Jameis going, guys? Is he going still in the
Yeah, he's
16th,
16th round or so.
Boom. I mean, you can draft those three guys. There's your Saints stack right there. And if you have the first, I don't know what, 2, 3, 4, and you want to draft Kamara, boom. Now you got a real full, Saints stack right there. And it didn't cost you that much outside of that top pick for Kamara. So, ways to think about it. That is an offense, though, that I do like because with Jameis, there's upside. If Taysom was the quarterback, I would not like it. I would not be targeting them outside of Kamara because I don't know if it would be as good of an offense. I think it would be more of a, run, kind of lead the clock and everything like that. So, all right, Snyder, was there anyone else you wanted to get to before we get into this draft?
I don't think so. I mean, you could look at like the Vikings. Irv Smith just got hurt. It's going to boost a guy like Tyler Conklin. But I also just seen that Tampa Bay released Tanner Hudson, which I feel like he would fit in really well here at this Minnesota. I mean, that could be an interesting addition if they choose to go down that path.
The problem with Tanner Hudson is, can he block?
I'm not sure.
He's more of a receiving guy, right?
Yeah, I think so.
I think that's why they let him go. Yeah, because he couldn't block.
Yeah, because he's good. He's a good. I'm actually kind of. Well, they have O.J. Howard and
Cameron Brate and Gronk.
Yeah, that's a tough team. That's a good player that just got. Some team should. He'll get signed by someone.
I'm surprised they didn't try to trade him or get something out of him.
Yeah. Problem with Minnesota is they need one of those, dual tight ends. They need their tight end to be able to block and to catch a little bit with the way they run the ball. Irv Smith was perfect for their team. He was so good. He was coming out last year. I thought he was going to have a big season this year with Kyle Rudolph gone. It stinks that we don't know the extent of his injury really either, right? There's no official word on how long he'll be out. So, we just kind of got to assume, I guess, that it's going to be significant enough time, though, where, we probably don't want him now in our best ball drafts here. But if someone were to jump in there like a Tanner Hudson, they sign him, then, yeah, he would be a nice little option that you could get in the last round. But, again, we don't know it. They got Conklin. Is he going to be able to put up the numbers that Irv Smith would have put up in the passing game? Probably not, right? But could he do some damage in that offense? Could he, give you some decent games? Yeah, he could. So if you're getting him at an extreme value, like towards the end of the draft, I don't hate it, especially if we get word that Irv Smith is going to be out. I hope not. I hope he comes back in 6 games or 8 games or whatever it is. But if we did get news he was out, then I would definitely be interested in him for sure. Simon, what do you think?
Yeah. I think it's a boost for Justin Jefferson too. I think that's enough to push him probably more into that second round if you haven't been drafting him there already. But Justin Jefferson I think is going to benefit from the situation.
God, I love Adam Thielen. So it's funny you say that because Adam Thielen is. You look at him. You don't realize the dude is a touchdown monster. He just eats touchdown. I mean, he's so good in the back of the end zone. He has that toe tap. He makes those catches where you're like, I don't even understand how he made that catch in the very back of the end zone. He's got great awareness, great feet. He knows where he is on the football field at all times. And whenever they're down there, they look to him. I don't get why. He's not the typical receiver you would look at when you are close to the end zone, but they do look at him down there. I think I agree with you. It enhances the receiving guys in general, I think. But I lean Adam Thielen where I'm getting Adam Thielen, which is right around the 4th or 5th round. And I think that's extreme value for a guy like Adam Thielen.
I think that's a good point. Yeah, especially with him being, Irv Smith obviously being a red zone competition for Thielen. That makes a lot of sense.
Yeah, which he was, right? I mean, Snyder, where were you going with like Adam Thielen? Because I've been drafting him in the 4th and 5th round, just like people are going to leave him for me, and okay, I'll just take him.
Yeah, I've snagged him a few times in the 5th round. I just really wasn't. I didn't really have a big take on him coming into this year, but I mean, it does make perfect sense. I mean, this could be a great bounce back year for him. I mean, he could soak up a lot of those shorter A-dot passes that Irv Smith was going to get. And like you said, he's one less body he's got to worry about in that end zone when he's going in that red zone.
Yeah, exactly. I just don't think that people see him as that guy, right? So when you don't see someone, you don't realize like what this guy did last year. I mean, you're talking about a bounce back. Snyder, I'm going to tell you this right now. How many touchdowns do you think he had?
Last year, I would say
hold on.
8.
Before you answer this, I'm going to tell you, you're gonna laugh. He doubled up Justin Jefferson.
I definitely didn't anticipate that. I mean, but I remember some of those games you'll see where he'll go off for like 12, 13 catches in a game, but there are more of those like shorter passes. But he's definitely a great PPR type guy.
So I just told you he doubled up Justin Jefferson, so that should give you a hint. How many do you think he had?
I'm going to say like 10 now.
Simon?
12.
14 friggin' touchdowns. The guy is a touchdown monster. I'm just going to keep saying he had 925 yards. It wasn't the great, 74 catches. Justin Jefferson outperformed him in the receiving. He got more targets. He added more yards, I'm pretty sure, per catch. But the touchdowns, Jefferson got doubled up on, 7 to 14. So I get it. But people don't realize, and in these best ball drafts, especially on Underdog, those touchdowns mean a little bit more. So Adam Thielen, that's the guy I would really advise people to look at, because even though Dalvin Cook's makes that team go, and Justin Jefferson is by far the most talented receiver on that team. Just if we take talent, right, like who is the most talented receiver, it would be Justin Jefferson already. Adam Thielen is the leader. So that's who they go to. That's who Kirk Cousins still will go to when he is in trouble. And that's why I love Adam Thielen this year. But I think you can draft them both. I think there's room for both those guys on your team, honestly. Even where they're going, because Adam Thielen, you're getting him at such a value, I don't mind a Minnesota stack. You get Kirk Cousins towards the end of the draft, and, you get Thielen and Jefferson. That's another team I really don't mind the stack, because their focus is on 3 guys, Cook, Jefferson, and Thielen. You can book all those guys as long as they're healthy. They're getting the rock. And that's who you want to target. You want to target offenses who you can pick out the guys who are going to get the rock, not the offenses that spread the ball out to 5 different receivers. And it's really tough to kind of pick out who's the guy each week. It's a lot tougher to narrow it down. So, all right. I think we've talked enough about everything that's going on. I know a couple of our guys, Bobby Gomes is going to jump in for the draft, right, Simon?
Yeah, I'm going to let him in now, actually. Get Bobby in here.
All right, so we can get some of Dusty Bobby's takes. We don't even see him right now, too. Oh, there he is. He was playing a kickball game or something. Softball.
No. Softball. I'm coming in with a good mojo. Game-winning 3-run home run.
Game-winning home run. He was in the semifinals. Comes in with good mojo. You hit the home run, Bobby?
I hit the dinger.
See, you couldn't have left. Your team wouldn't have won without you.
Exactly. That's why I couldn't come.
All right, there you go. So Bobby Gomes is here. Bobby, how many beers deep are you?
A few.
There you go.
We'll be good. I'll be a good boy.
No worries. I'm not worried about it. So we need Simon. Are we all set for one of us to test it out?
I only have like 3 entries left, so somebody with a lot of entries want to jump in just in case.
Do you want to jump in?
I can. You may jump in right now and tell you how many guys.
8 more to start.
Yeah.
I just jumped in.
All
8 more?
Get
okay, jump in.
Get in. Everyone get in.
7, 6, 5. Must be you 3, right?
Yep.
Yeah, that must be. Because there's 5. I'm seeing 5 spots left.
Mine says 6 more to start.
I'm ready to whoop JSU's ass in this.
I see 4.
I see 4
now. 4.
Yeah, 4.
Hey, JSU, you want to text Big T real quick?
He's not hopping in this.
He was saying he wanted to earlier, so I tried hitting him on Discord the last few minutes, but I haven't heard back from him. We got still 4 more I'm seeing. I don't know what you guys are seeing. Let's see.
Yeah, I'm seeing 4 as well.
Okay, good. So, yeah.
Big T.
So
isn't Hoffman. No way.
3 more. That might have been him.
I need Big T bucks. He got me for 500 this week.
Yeah, it was good that Cantlay won though.
Yeah.
So JSU, what have been the primary teams that you've been targeting for stacks, basically?
Called his ass. He didn't answer. So, I mean, I love Arizona in this thing. I love Kyler. Love D-Hop. Love the guys in the back end too, like Rondale Moore, Christian Kirk, big play guys. Even AJ Green, I guess, a little bit. I haven't been drafting him as much. It's been more Kirk and Rondale in the back, but I do really like that offense. The Buffalo offense, I mean, you can get Gabriel Davis, Emmanuel Sanders, both pretty cheap. Stephon Diggs is going more towards the back end of the first or the second round. But he's a good receiving type guy and a perfect team to stack Buffalo. So I do like him. The Chargers, Aaron Rodgers in Green Bay. Randall Cobb is cheap. I think Randall Cobb's going to have a nice little year. Talked about before, Aaron Rodgers, he hooks up his friends, and Randall Cobb is one of his closest friends on that team. So don't be surprised when Randall Cobb is out playing most of those guys outside of Devontae Adams. And then after that, I mean, you get into like the secondary stacks, like Minnesota that we talked about already. New Orleans, I think the Jameis, the Callaway, Traquan type stack is really interesting. Those are the teams I'm kind of focused on right now from a passing standpoint. They're the ones I kind of want to pick on. I guess I could throw in Tampa because I do have a few Brady stacks because I like Mike Evans. And I think you can get Antonio Brown at a decent value. So I'll throw that team in there too. But, those are the teams I'm kind of looking at. And again, they all fit exactly what I told you. I want good top offenses. Those are the offenses I want to focus on. Teams that I know are going to score and have good efficiency offensively and be able to, put up points each and every week. And most of those offenses, I think we can all agree on for the most point that they're going to be able to do it. So,
what's your stance on Ridley this year, JSU? I know you're high on Pitts.
So Calvin Ridley is like one of my most beloved players in all of fantasy. He's won me so much money. I love him. He was that guy that got it done for me for the $1 Million Baller tournament 2 years ago on Yahoo, dropping a 2 touchdown piece on Sunday Night Football. It's like one of the best things ever, and I shipped that tournament. I love Calvin Ridley. I think he's a stud. And I love him. My problem is where he's going. So if I love Pitts, do I think both of them can produce in that offense? Yes, I do. My worry is Atlanta's always ran the ball close to the goal line. Maybe that changes a little bit. Matt Ryan's a little older, though. Can he get it done? And do I see Calvin Ridley over...
You're up, by the way, JSU.
Yep. Do I see Calvin Ridley over DeAndre Hopkins and DK Metcalf, who I'm super high on? I see him right with them. I just don't know if I see him ahead of them. You know what I mean? So it's tough for me, especially with me drafting Pitts. Now, if I go with the Matt Ryan stack, I would draft Calvin Ridley here. Like, yeah, fuck it. I'm going to draft Calvin Ridley here.
There you go.
Just because I said it. But so, like, yeah, so now my goal in this draft would be to find a way to get Kyle Pitts and then maybe hold off on quarterback, which I haven't done a ton, to be honest with people this year. I've been trying to draft. I think Aaron Rodgers is, for some reason, like, going way too far down in the draft. So he's a great pick later in drafts. You're getting him around pick like 84, I think, somewhere in that range. Like Tom Brady's going in the I think 90 to 100 range. Those are pretty good value picks for guys that are going to be in really good offenses. And we know those guys are going to be in good offenses with good weapons. So quarterback, I've been kind of looking at those two guys and Kyler. If I don't have a plan stack, but like for this draft, because I started out with Ridley, I'm going to plan on waiting at quarterback and going with Matt Ryan and Kyle Pitts. And
it's good because you weren't getting Kyler in this wrap.
Why were you going to just steal him from me wherever you were going to just snipe him from me?
Yeah.
Bobby, you're not in my, are you even in a range to snipe me? Oh yeah.
I'm in the perfect range to snipe you all night, baby.
Yeah, I just noticed that too. Saquon? Oh, Bobby. Woo, baby.
Rough scene.
Woo. You picked Saquon over Nick Chubb? Oh,
I did. I like Saquon and Nick Chubb teams.
Okay. I like Nick Chubb. So
I like Chubb too.
You took Saquon over Austin Eckler and Nick Chubb.
No, I thought Eckler was gonna. Yeah, I was thinking about going Eckler. I just need to get. I want to have a little Saquon just because I think there's this narrative that the Giants are going to suck and they're going to give up at the end of the year. I kind of like Daniel Jones a little. I don't know about Joe Judge. Like, he obviously has his issues. Jason Garrett is not the greatest OC, but is what it is. Saquon. So I think the industry's down on him, so I don't mind taking him. If I wasn't trying to get my exposure up, I would have went Eckler there.
So have people seen that division? Like the Giants are going to have a chance.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. I don't think the Giants are gonna be totally dead. Everyone thinks the Giants are gonna be like a scrub team. Like,
well, you know why though? It's because Daniel Jones.
See, I think Daniel Jones might take the step forward. Title's been drafting him. He get the rushing equity. I don't mind Daniel Jones in this.
But I'm telling you that people are saying that because of Daniel Jones. They're not seeing what that team did last year when Saquon was out the entire year.
Yeah, he was out the whole season.
The defense stepped up crazy. Their defense was an underrated defense that it took, I swear to God, it took people, and anyone who says that it's not true, they're just lying. It took people a half a season to figure out that the defense was actually a solid defense. I said it after game 2 of watching that team. I said, this team is a good team. Their defense is way better than people think. And it was, and it kept them in ball games that they had no business being in. And I think if you look at their division, I don't know how you can be like, oh yeah, they're definitely like bottom of their division. I think they might be the second best team in that division. So, and you never know with injuries. You know what I mean? You never know who can go down. Maybe, you know, top guys from Washington, one of them goes down and it changes that division a little bit. But Yeah, I think people might be overlooking the Giants a little bit. I'm not as sold on Daniel Jones as you. Don't give me the rushing equity. Don't give me the, I think he makes bad decisions at times. And
yeah, but a lot of that's compounded by the fact that Saquon sat last year, right? Like, so it's his second year in the league. He loses his number one offensive player. He loses two of his number one offensive weapons, right? Beckham was traded.
So I don't mean to cut you off here, but I'm up right now. And so right now, I already talked about
2 seasons pretty much.
I already talked about how I'm high on Mike Evans. I'm going to go with Mike Evans. And then here, I want Kyle Pitts in this draft. I already talked about this. Normally, I would like to be a little further along in this round to take him, but I'm not. He's not going to be here most likely when I get back. So I'm going to take him now. And then go ahead, Bobby. Continue about Daniel Jones.
Yeah, he basically lost Saquon second year in the league. OBJ wasn't there, so I wasn't right on that. But you take Saquon basically out of that offense, and it's obviously a major piece. And I don't know. I'm more bullish than I think most on the Giants.
And anyone else here? Snyder, are you in on the Giants this year?
No, I've been fading Saquon this whole year. I mean, I don't know if he's even going to play that first week or two. I mean, even if he does play, I don't have any faith in Jason Garrett or that Giants offense. And then I don't even think they're going to be that good. So, I mean, you get in that week 10, 11, 12 range. I mean, if they're out of it, are they even going to push Saquon, or are they just going to kind of pack it up and
But they're not going to be out of it in that division, though. They weren't out of it last year without Saquon.
Yeah,
like that division. What was that division at the end of the year was so tight.
I expect the Cowboys to be much better this year, though, and I expect the Cowboys defense to be much better this year.
No, that's a really good point. You have Dak for a whole season on the Cowboys.
I don't see any upside with the Giants. I just think the whole thing, the coaching, these guys are fucking idiots. Like just Jason Garrett scolding the media. It's like, oh, you call me coach, and then he's got his guys brawling on the field and stuff. It's just like they're just a disaster. I just don't see. Like I don't mind taking Saquon in the second, just because the value is there. But as far as the rest of the team, Galladay, he's going way too early. He's already hurt. We don't know how many games he's gonna miss, and like there's just everything about that team is just like a shitstorm waiting to happen. I just don't trust any of them.
I'll give you the Garrett take. Call me coach. Like Joe Judge is a hardo too, so it's just interesting how like situations like that it doesn't always work out the best for the team, right? But I don't know. I just want to bump my exposure for Saquon with these last couple of lineups I'm building.
Saquon, I don't mind at all. You know, like just like I said, you know, he was consensus.
I could have took Eckler and gotten Saquon. I could have took Eckler at 10 and gotten Saquon at 14.
Yeah,
that's what I should have did.
So, yeah, I mean, you talk about the coaches. I mean, look at some of the coaching in this division is horrible. I mean, Mike McCarthy. People want to talk about Dallas.
He's atrocious. That's why I don't understand stacking Dallas.
He is terrible. I mean, and this guy, I don't know how he gets this job. It's ridiculous, and he's gonna mess this whole Cowboys great offense up. I'm sure he's gonna do it. He couldn't get it. He got it done once with Aaron Rodgers. Might be one of the greatest quarterbacks, you know, maybe ever. Maybe he's the best quarterback ever. I don't even know, but. He fucked all his years up pretty much with the Packers. They only won once. And I don't even know how that's possible because Aaron Rodgers was so good for his career. To me, it was Mike McCarthy who screwed all that up in Green Bay most of those years. So I don't know. Dallas, awful coaching. Philadelphia, let me tell you right now, I'll bet anyone Philadelphia is going to be the worst team in this league. Anyone who wants to bet me, I'll bet you whatever you want right now.
That Minshew move was awful.
They will be the fourth team in this league, guaranteed. That team is going to be awful. They're going to play from behind all the time. They might be good for fantasy. That's not what I'm talking about. I'm talking about from a win-loss standpoint. Philly is going to be bad. Book it.
I agree with that. I mean, I don't even think Javonte Smith's going to last. I mean, he's already getting hurt and nicked up a few times this preseason. I'd be surprised if he made it past like week 6, I think.
Yeah, that's bad for my best
we
ball
got
shares.
we got our Gus Edwards
right there,
pick
too.
here. Gus Edwards went 5.5, so he went 53rd overall in this draft. To me, I think it's a bad pick. I think it's actually terrible.
Yeah, I agree.
You know, and Adam Thielen went 47th to Snyder.
I had to take him there. I mean,
who we talked about. But if Snyder wasn't in this draft right now, I bet you he would have made it to like the middle of the 5th round somehow, because people don't realize how good of a pick he is, especially now with Irv out. And Snyder, you caught the perfect point to snag him.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I got Dalvin Cook too, so I think I have a really good chance of if Minnesota score, and I like my chances of getting that touchdown now.
Yeah, if you got Dalvin and Adam Thielen, I'm going to go out on a limb and say you're going to get a lot of touchdowns from them this year. So, Bobby Gomes, I asked them, Simon and Snyder, this question. How many touchdowns did Adam Thielen get last year? Just if you had to guess.
12.
Yes, better guess than I would have thought that you would have gave. He got 14. He doubled Justin Jefferson in touchdowns last year.
Yeah, because he obviously Justin Jefferson was catching those long bombs, but Thielen's always his go-to in the red zone, right?
Mm-hmm.
Outside of Dalvin, so he had a one-handed catch. I forget who it was against. He had like 2 touchdowns in the game. It was absolutely phenomenal, Thielen. It's funny how so many people, the whole industry is down on him as well. Where can we go? I got my picks coming up.
Damian Harris there. You got your Williams and Henderson or Harris there.
Yep.
Solid 1-2 right there. I like that.
Yeah. Yeah, I like those backfields. I like what I can do with those backfields. You know, and all these guys have different bye weeks too. So you got Chubb in the 13th, 11th for Williams, Harris in the 14th.
Oh, I was going to ask you this, JC. Have you ever thought, I've seen a couple people do this. What's your take on this? Drafting just 3 running backs, all with different bye weeks, and just going like 11 receivers.
You know,
I've been doing
a couple
that.
People doing that. And my take on that is that, let's be honest, in these best ball drafts, you already have to get extremely lucky. You have to run really good with injuries, right?
Mm-hmm.
Like, it's not just about building the best team overall. It's about getting lucky with injuries. Like that, you need to catch really good injury luck to win in these things. And hey, if you want to take that shot, you're putting in a ton of bullets to where you only want to draft 3 running backs, and they're 3 stable running backs. Like, I mean stable running backs. I wouldn't do this strategy and draft Dalvin Cook and then go and wait until, you know, Chase Edmonds, and then wait and get, you know, Phillip Lindsay as my 3rd. That's not how I would do this strategy. If I was doing this strategy, I'd kind of do it how I did it here, where either I'm going to draft a running back at the top, and then maybe in that like 5th to 7th round, I'm going to take 2 more running backs in those rounds, and those will be my 3 running backs, all with different buys. Or I take my first 2 rounds of running backs and then wait until like the 7th round for my 3rd. But what I've been seeing though, Snyder, and I wonder if you're seeing it too, is people will like take Tony Pollard as their 3rd running back.
Yeah.
And it's like, what? No, like that, it only have 3. It's like, don't do that. That's a bad strategy. If you're taking Tony Pollard, you need another 1 or 2 Tony Pollards just in case, because you're banking on a Zeke injury, right? Whereas,
yeah,
you know, I'm taking Damian Harris And I think Damian Harris is going to be the lead dog there, and he's going to, be the first one to get goal line carries and all that stuff. I don't have to worry about an injury, but, don't take positions where you're going to have to worry about a guy needing someone else to go down to get him work. That's a terrible strategy. So I don't mind it, but you have to take 3 running backs that are actually playing and that don't need something to happen for them to get playing time.
Mm-hmm. There, I just took my boy Myles Gaskin there in the 7th round.
Here you go.
What? Yeah, 74th.
I went Sermon Gaskin.
70. I'm okay in that 70 to 85 range, which is where he's kind of been going. That's fine for me. It was when he was in like the 5th and 6th round. I thought it was too much. I was giving Snyder a ton of crap. I'm not a Gaskins guy, but I will say when you wait until where Snyder waited to grab him in this like 70-ish to 80-ish round pick, I think that's a better value for a guy who could potentially start and be the lead dog in a backfield. So obviously you got the downside of they could give Malcolm Brown snaps in the goal line. They could, give Salvin Ahmed, who's at times kind of flashed. Even last year, he did decent when Gaskins was out. They could give him some work. But at that point, it's not as much of a risk as it was when people were drafting him in the 5th and early 6th round, which I thought was a little too extreme for me.
I agree.
Let's see.
Who's up now?
I'm about to go. Bobby Gomes is up, and then I'm up after him. So Bobby
I just got sniped. What the fuck?
So Bobby needs a tight end.
Yeah, I just got sniped, my guy.
So did you get Kyler? Let me look at your team.
I got Kyler, yeah.
All right. So Bobby won Michael
I
Pittman.
wanted Logan Thomas.
All right. So you started out with Kyler, Saquon, Jonathan Taylor, T. Higgins, Antonio Brown, Robbie Anderson, Michael Pittman. Okay, so
I just went Pittman, yeah.
Yeah, Pittman's not bad, especially with T.Y. going down. Kyler's my favorite quarterback overall, just if I had to put one on top of the other. I think he's my favorite fantasy quarterback. Justin Herbert just went. Now I got to go. In this spot, I actually love falling in this spot, guys, because I love 2 guys here. Nicole Hardman, who I've been drafting a ton of. I think he's got upside anyways, just, with Sammy Watkins leaving, and I think him getting more of a role. And then obviously the major upside of if, something were to happen to Tyreek Hill, he would play that like Tyreek Hill role. And then Brandon Cooks, who I like to go back to back when I have this type of pick. Brandon Cooks is a guy who at pick 85, I feel like that's a crazy value for a guy who's been all around the league and he's produced everywhere. In this Houston offense, some dudes are going to produce, like they're going to be behind all game. They're going to be throwing all game. And I think that's going to benefit Brandon Cooks.
Yeah, Cooks is like the rare receiver where no matter where he ends up, like he ends up doing well. Like most guys go to a new team and they take a year or 2 to adjust. But like Cooks, you can just place him in any team and he seems like he's just comfortable.
I absolutely cannot stand Brandon Cooks, but I get the logic of drafting him to get a piece of that Houston.
So what do you not like about Brandon Cooks?
Just everything that we saw in New England. Like how could you like Brandon? Like I get it from a standpoint of
you sound like a fan right now. You're like
but I just think even in the Super Bowl for the Rams, I get why Brandon Cooks is a good play in Houston this season. I'm not down on Brandon Cooks.
I have no idea.
In general, I just have a bad taste in my mouth. I don't let the recency bias affect my decisions like I have.
Bobby, this is the receiver that we're talking about. 2015, over 1,100 yards, 9 touchdowns. 2016, over 1,100 yards, 8 touchdowns. 2017, with the Patriots, 1,082 yards, 7 touchdowns. With the Rams, 1,200 yards, 5 touchdowns. With the Rams in 2019.
The Rams in a McVay offense, 5 touchdowns from the
1,200 yards.
It's a lot of yards. They go deep, but 5 touchdowns.
80 receptions. Then I think in 2019 he did get hurt a little bit, and then with the Texans last year, over 1,100 yards and 6 touchdowns.
Last year I thought last year was his best season with Watson and how much they had to pass late in the year.
Okay, fine, but Bobby at pick 85. I mean, fine. You just took Michael Pittman. You want me to go read you his stats from last year?
Michael Pittman was a rookie last year. He's going to take Michael Pittman is taking the leap.
I'm giving you a guy who's has put up 1,000-yard receiving touchdowns with 3 different.
I will take Michael Pittman What do you want Michael Pittman versus Brandon Cooks? What do you want Michael Pittman versus Brandon Cooks? What do you want Michael Pittman versus Brandon Cooks? What do you want Michael Pittman versus Brandon Cooks?
Like
he's in stat line. Like, what do you
want? Oh God!
What do you want?
No, stop.
Why?
I'll give you
water's warm, JSU. Water's warm.
Man, you got to be shitting me. Somebody some highlights. Sniped Trey Lance off of me.
Oh, thank God. Good, because you don't want friggin' Trey Lance. That's another guy I'm about to go off on. Why are people drafting Trey
I don't
Lance?
know why people love Trey Lance. I have no idea.
Somebody.
Is
it because he threw a 60-yard touchdown? Is that why?
No,
Kyle Shanahan helps him.
I like his situation that he's in.
Yeah, I get why Simon Mike. I just
situation. Why
I like Fields better.
Situation?
Because he doesn't have Mike McCarthy coaching him. He has Kyle Shanahan.
Exactly. He's got a good coach. He's got a good weapons.
Look at the fantasy numbers for Kyle Shanahan QBs over the last decade. He's been an OC.
So you're gonna like a rookie quarterback on a team that has a really good overall team, good defense, really good running game, good offensive line. That's gonna be in scripts where they're not gonna have to throw to get back. They're gonna be ahead more. They're gonna be running the football more. You want a quarterback who's gonna not have to be ultra aggressive and throw the ball a ton to win games, because he won't be in this offense. He won't need to be in this offense. You guys are saying that he could do it, but there's almost like probably no need for him to do it a lot of games with how good this team is going to be overall. I don't think people are weighting this when they're talking about Trey Lance. They're just looking at him going, well, he has the potential and all these weapons. Dude, when they get down, they want to run the football. They want to run the football. They want to control the clock.
what does Trey Lance do though? He runs the football.
Because he can run?
Yeah.
Dude, Simon, they're going to have so much success running the football. They don't need their quarterback running all over the field. But I think you're weighting it too much. It's in my opinion, anyways. That's how I feel. I think it's too overblown.
I think the threat of the run that San Francisco poses is going to leave a lot of lanes.
You're up, JSU.
For those guys.
So I love. This is another sneaky guy I love, Henry Ruggs. Just giving away all the sleepers here, but no Nelson Aguilar on this team, and this is a perfect example of a guy that everyone would struggle in daily fantasy to roster on a weekly basis, but I have no problem drafting. And then I'm going to go Terence Marshall, who has just looked the part, and everyone's getting Robbie and DJ
Marshall's
Moore.
A stud.
God, he looks like a stud, Snyder. He could
be
the
he's playing this offense. Him and that he's got the shower narrative with the coach there. Him and Brady at LSU.
So does PJ Walker. It's going to be PJ Walker season too.
Yep, PJ Walker.
PJ Walker season's finishing the year with that team as the
good shower narrative though. We'll take a good shower narrative.
I'll hit on that Cooks and deal just real quick. I mean, I get the Cooks play. I mean, he's perfect for this best ball draft. I mean, you're going to get those 5 to 6 weeks where he just goes off and he's your optimal guy in your lineup. But I also do like Pittman, though, also, because Carson Wentz has shown that he goes at these bigger, taller receivers. He targets those a lot. He has in the past. And Pittman's that big target here. I think he's a great second-year leap guy here. I like both of the guys. I'm high on both of them, but
I want Pittman Bucks versus JSU.
My problem is though, Snyder, I do like Pittman as well. Mm-hmm. I just think look at the consistency of this guy. Don't give me Michael Pittman. Michael Pittman's had one year in the league.
I think that's the wrong way to play it. Because you want you look at the consistency, you want the ceiling. Like Michael, I just feel like Michael Pittman. We know what Brandon Cooks' ceiling.
Why can't Brandon Cooks give me a ceiling year?
He can't. Well, we basically, like you said, his consistency and his range of outcomes are pretty much what they are, right?
Yeah, I think I think it's anywhere from 1,000 to 1,200 yards, which is what he's
okay.
shown.
No, that's I
think the touchdown range is anywhere from 5 to 8, 5 to 9, like somewhere in that range. He's gonna probably produce. Remember, this team, he's played on really good teams. May I add, by the way, this team is really bad. So
I think this season might be his best season because of the opportunity he's going to have. But I still would take Pittman over Cooks.
Yeah, I mean. And listen, you might bink on it too with the TY.
The water is warm.
The TY injury is the only reason why I won't make this bet, because I want to know how long he's out.
I would have made the bet with the TY injury. I'm bullish on Pittman.
No, you would have made the bet even if he wasn't injured.
Yeah, even if he wasn't injured, I
would definitely make the bet with you.
Yeah.
And I would definitely make the bet with you.
I wanted to hit on the Trey Lance take. Like at JSU, 100% get your logic. One of the reasons why I'm not taking Trey Lance. But on the other side of that, I understand why Simon is drafting him, right? Like it's a lot of 12-mans, a lot of high floor teams. Like if he is scoring running touchdowns, he does have Kyle Shanahan there, who has done well previously as an offensive coordinator and a head coach with quarterbacks. And I think that this is like his shiny new toy, right? So he's going to put him in the best position, but also I am tentative because I just don't think that they're going to extend him as much as the industry assumes they are.
Yeah, and when's he going to start on top of it?
Anyone know? I think he's going to play. I think he's going to – they're not going to – I don't think they're going to shy away. Like he's going to eventually be –
What happens if –
It's going to happen sooner rather than later.
But what happens if this team starts out 4-0?
Kyle Shanahan wants to play with the shiny new toy. I forget what pod I was listening to.
I know, but
I think it's a good point. Their schedule schedule's very weak the rest of the way in the beginning, so he could start. I get what you're saying. So they're going to have a tough time pulling Jimmy. So I get what you're saying, but I just think eventually it's going to be Trey Lance season in San Francisco, and when that happens, the upside. It's like 50-50 if it will be there. I just don't. For me, I think that they're going to run the ball and they're going to be conservative because he is a rookie. And if you wait too long, it could be. If they wait too long, it could be trouble for your exposures. That's why I don't have a ton.
Yeah, but you're also having to pay, in my opinion, somewhat of a premium taking them in the 9th round.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. For this situation, that's a high pick you're spending on Trey Lance.
You take them over a lot.
JSU also, you look at the Ravens in a similar situation. They got a strong running game. They got a strong defense. Is that slowing Lamar Jackson down from?
It's not a similar situation because Lamar Jackson is a proven guy with that offense. He's
right, but he wasn't proven in his first year as a starter.
No, but he was actually the starter. Trey Lance isn't the starter, so
not yet. But I mean, it's pretty much all but
hold on, time out. You can't just be like, oh yeah, he's not yet the starter. If you told me, okay, JSU, the dude is starting week 1, fine. You want to draft him in the 9th round? That's fine with me because I at least know he's going to start. We don't know when he's going to start. That's my problem with paying a premium for him. On top of the issues that I see with the offense in general, where I don't see them needing to stretch him out too much and use him a ton. I see them trying to use him a little bit, use his legs a little, but also, put him in really good spots to succeed. They're not going to force him to make a ton of plays. I just don't think they're going to need him to do that to win football games. You know what I mean? So, you wouldn't put your rookie quarterback in any trouble unless you needed him to get you out of it. I think they're going to be a good team. So hold on, I'm up here. Let me just see where I'm at.
You need a QB, JSU.
Listen, Bobby Gomes, I don't tell you how to run your draft. You don't tell me
I'm
how
just
to run mine,
saying.
sir.
I'm looking here. You got a big donut on the QB. Oh, Jalen Reagor.
Oh, it's coming, I think.
Oh, he's waiting for Matt Ryan. He's got.
I'm gonna snag him right now.
Snag
him right now, so no one takes my Matt Ryan.
You knew it was coming, man.
Yep. I don't want anyone else to have
Bobby
any
Gomes
ideas.
lurking in those shadows.
I was lurking. I was definitely lurking. I had him
Bobby
queued up
Gomes.
and everything.
Bobby Gomes was ready to take Matt Ryan just to spite me for my Michael Pittman, Brandon Cooks take, or my Trey Lance take.
Without a doubt.
He secretly hates my Trey Lance take.
Oh, you fucking took Jalen Reagor, dude? Oh, man.
That's my guy, Simon. I love Jalen Reagor.
Oh, me too, man.
There is a huge, we didn't talk
here.
about this a lot on the previous shows that we did, but there's a huge, game theory aspect within these drafts, in terms of sniping people and kind of going against their construction. Earlier on, everyone was taking, I think they would take Kelsey, Tyreek, and they were obviously trying to get Mahomes later on. I would just snipe Mahomes and take Hardman. You know what I mean? That was pretty much, or go Hardman Pringle and get that, try to get that equity. You know what I mean? Obviously they don't have the ceiling that the other two that do, but just with the situation being ambiguous at the third wide receiver position, I didn't want people who are taking Kelsey and Tyreek super early because of the ambiguity up top at the running back position to get leverage and have that Mahomes stack.
Interesting. So Ramondre Stevenson's goes in the 12th round, 134th. Where did Justin Fields go? I'm trying to. We gotta touch on.
He went right before I was gonna pick him. I had two guys go right in front of me.
Yeah.
He went 115th. So towards the back of the 10th round. All right. So give me your Justin Fields take, Snyder. Well, what do you like about Justin Fields?
I think he's from what I've seen, I see flashes, not to Lamar Jackson's quality, but I think he could be that type of quarterback. I think he can throw better too. We saw he scrambled a few times in the preseason. He's making guys miss already. He's talked about going against that defense in the preseason hold on, I got to pick a guy. But he's talked about going against that defense in the preseason, about how it slowed the game for him down. And in the second preseason game, it kind of looked as though he was more confident and more composed. And he said the game was slowing down for him more than it had. And I think he's got that upside right there with the wheels and whatnot. Now I got to pick again.
High on Fields?
You're tight end.
I think it's Fields' time coming soon in Chicago. I don't mind Fields at all.
Yeah, I like Fields too. I'm a fan.
I'm not a big fan of him this year. I don't like the coaching staff. I don't like that offense in general. I think he needs 1 year, but I get at least him because I think that's another team where they're going to be down a ton. And Andy Dalton's just not it. They can say he's the guy and all that. But the difference between them and San Francisco is I could see San Francisco jumping out to where they're 4-0. And now it becomes really hard, like I talked about with Bobby, to replace Jimmy G if he's playing well for Trey Lance, like they're, I'm sure, hoping to do. Whereas in Chicago, I think that's going to be a little easier because I don't think the Bears are going to go 4-0. I don't think Dalton's going to have a ton of success. And the fans are going to be going nuts for, as Bobby keeps saying, the shiny new toy, which is Justin Fields.
Yeah, Fields is going to see the field. They'll riot in Chicago. I think they're already rioting, but
I think in the case of San Francisco, yeah, we talked about this a little bit last week, but in the case of San Francisco, they kind of need to start Trey Lance week 1 just because their schedule is pretty easy. But with Fields, yeah, I mean, Fields is going to be in a situation where they're going to start Andy Dalton to begin with, but they're going to be under a ton of pressure to put Justin Fields in. So it's going to be, like a situation where you probably have a good likelihood of seeing Fields start before Lance if Lance doesn't start week 1.
Yeah, I think we see Fields come in. Like, I wouldn't be surprised if Fields started like week 2, week 3. I mean, there's people like joking about they're going to throw Andy Dalton to the Wolves, to the Rams, and Aaron Donald week 1. I mean, that's kind of, I think there's some fluidity to that. And I expect Fields to be in there by, I would say, week 4 for sure.
Week 4, Justin Fields, I see it.
I mean, when you watch those two play in the preseason, I mean, there's no way I think you can put Andy Dalton out in front of him. I mean, that's just egregious, I think.
Yeah. Andy Dalton didn't show anything during the preseason. He did throw that one bomb in week 2, I think. But other than that, it was just like the crowd was just like booing the shit out of him. And, he threw that touchdown. Even after throwing that touchdown, he didn't get like a huge reaction for it.
This is like the first draft I've done probably ever where I haven't had I've been going after those tight ends early. Like, I know JSU has been doing that. And this is the first draft where I don't have like one of those top like 5 or 6 tight ends, and I'm not feeling too good about it.
Yeah, honestly, I have not loved my drafts where I haven't gotten a top tight end as much.
Yeah, not even close.
The guy who I've been going for, if I don't take a Travis Kelce, I haven't taken any Waller or Kittle. It's been Kelce or Pitts for me personally. I've just been kind of taking that stand where it's either Kelce in the first or I'm going Pitts. The next guys I'm going down to, actually, or really the next guy was Mike Gaseki down in the the 10th, 11th round, I think, which is where he was going. I just think him and Tua have a connection. Tua loves to throw to the tight end. I think we saw it last year. I think it's only going to get more enhanced this year, where he's going to be a big target for them. I think.
Would you give me Mike Gasecki versus Logan Thomas?
Yeah, but Logan Thomas is going ahead of Mike Gasecki.
Yeah, that is a good point.
Give me someone
in range. I like Gasecki in his range. Actually, looking at it right now.
Going back to that Lamar Jackson pick I had, I mean, it was between Lamar Jackson and Mark Andrews there. That was a big decision for me, and I went with Lamar, and I see Simon took Andrews right after me then.
Is Gasecki in Tanyan's range? No.
Gasecki was like in Irv Smith's range.
Oh, okay.
That's where.
Yeah, that's good value in Gasecki then. That's a really good. It's really sharp.
I'm pretty sure he was right under him for a long time. He might have moved up since, but I'm pretty sure that Irv Smith was going ahead of Gasecki.
I like Gasecki much more than Irv. Well, now obviously it's yeah, but.
Did Bobby Gomes get his guy Madison again in this draft?
No, I didn't get him. I got sniped for both my guys, Madison and Pringle. Very butthurt about it.
Very hurtful,
to be honest.
Simon just took my backup quarterback.
It was hurtful, Simon. Right.
Yeah, Snyder. I was gunning for Lamar like in that early round, and when you grabbed him, I was like, "Damn it, man! That just screwed up my entire plan."
Oh, so that's the other thing, quarterback. I wanted to talk about just because. I've been talking about this for weeks in our Discord with people, and I am very much against, if you're drafting a top 5 quarterback, not drafting another quarterback until the back end of the draft. Talking like the last two rounds of the draft where you're still seeing starting quarterbacks kind of sit there and go, and there's not much difference between the few that go ahead of them. Now, though, it's weird. The last few drafts I've done, it seems like quarterbacks are starting to go a little quicker. I don't know if you guys have noticed that.
I have a few times.
I still think now in this draft I waited for Matt Ryan, so I don't think you need to wait to draft. I think you could draft another QB if you're waiting until pick 133 to draft your first quarterback. You can draft another quarterback, the next round, if you wanted to. But if you're getting a Josh Allen, a Kyler Murray, Lamar Jackson, a Pat Mahomes, if you're spending that type of pick on one of those guys are going to be your optimal quarterbacks most weeks. That's what you're saying. All right. On even their average, like bad games are still in some ways going to beat some of these other second tier quarterbacks. So that's what you have to say to yourself. You have to say, like, for this team to succeed, this guy that I drafted in the 4th, 5th round, they need to be my winning quarterback, right? Like, more often than not. So why are you spending another draft pick on Tom Brady, pick 100 when you already have? I've seen so many drafts where people take 2, top 10 QBs, and I'm sitting there like, I don't even get it. You can never start 2 QBs. So why?
Yeah, I definitely agree with that for sure. I mean, if you're spending that much capital, you want to try and load up the rest of your roster with as much guys as you can until that last round.
Yeah, I don't get it, Bobby.
What was it? I was trying to pick there.
People drafting like, they'll go
top 5.
They'll go like a top 5 quarterback, like a Lamar, a Josh Allen, a Kyler Murray, and then they'll come back around like 8 or 9 and draft like Tom Brady or Aaron Rodgers or
So because of
Trey
construction
in the 9th round, it's like I don't understand that philosophy. I don't get it.
So I think it goes back to like what we talked about at the top of the show. You hit on it on Aaron Rodgers. Like, he's going late. And the reason he's going late is because people think that other people are drafting him when he literally wasn't being drafted. And I think for that reason, that's why his ADP and the value has fallen. So there's this industry consensus that you have to take QBs later on, and you can spare Aaron Rodgers if you already drafted Kyler. But I have a lot of Kyler, Aaron Rodgers teams for that reason, because I don't think, just based on construction, I don't think that's the necessary. Like, what are we not going to draft A-Rod because you think people were drafting him earlier on? Like, it doesn't make any sense.
Because you can't start 2 QBs, and when you're spending a high pick on Kyler Murray, you're saying you need that guy to be your optimal quarterback most weeks. So why are you wasting 2 picks later a pick on Aaron Rodgers when you could be getting a positional guy like a Nicole Hardman, someone that could help your football team in a different area? That's my point to the whole thing. I think it affects your upside.
I get what you're saying. For me, I've been taking it just because people have been waiting on the only guy I'm doing it with is Aaron Rodgers. He's Aaron Rodgers. You know what I mean? Everyone else I don't understand. It's Aaron Rodgers. Like, I'm drafting Aaron Rodgers. I think there's a ton of value at the wide receiver position, and just how construction's been for this best ball. Everyone thinks like you need to draft these mid-range guys that when you hit dead zones just because they have playing time. Like, for me, I think taking shots on like Josh Palmer, Byron Pringle, just Van Jefferson, guys that can hit their ceiling like in ambiguous situations. I think it allows you to basically draft a guy like Rodgers in that 10th round if you wanted to, just because you're basically taking a shot on the ceiling. Like, my best team last year had Justin Jefferson. I drafted him like with the week left in like the 18th, 17th round. Like, I don't even know how he got that far. You know what I mean? So everyone thinks like you need 8 to 10 wide receivers, but you want 8 to 10 wide receivers that have the potential to hit a range of outcomes that have an extreme ceiling. So, like, even though they're rookies, projecting these guys out is literally impossible. This is why there's such an edge in best ball right now. You can't project these guys. The ADP means nothing at this point. It's especially for rookies, right? So, because we don't know how much they're going to play really. So taking the shot there and kind of skipping like the mid-range guys that you think are going to see playing time.
But Bobby, I'm still taking guys in the mid-range with, like high risk, high reward type guys in those spots. But I still think it's better than taking a quarterback when you can't start two quarterbacks.
I think it works perfectly, except the case for Aaron Rodgers. I just think he's Aaron Rodgers, right? Like I get.
Well, then, in my opinion, why are you drafting Kyler Murray? Take another guy instead of Kyler Murray and get Aaron Rodgers.
Because we're playing 10-mans, right? So the floor is extremely high. I want to have the highest floor I can possibly. Well, it's a 12-man, right? They're small field tournaments. So if I can get Rodgers and then get instead of or draft like a Cobb or an Amari Rodgers late, that might not like Amari Rodgers.
My best team last year had Kyler Murray as its quarterback, and I can tell you for sure Kyler Murray was my optimal quarterback almost every week.
I 100% get that, but you want to win that bye week too, right? I get what you're saying with. I just think the dead range was a lot of receivers that I just didn't really want to take. So taking a shot on rookies, I draft a lot of rookies in these drafts just because, like I said, I think their ADP is tough to predict, and they're all situations where we really don't know, right?
And like last year's class, if you look at last year's rookie class, I mean, it was a hell of a class. You had CeeDee Lamb, Justin Jefferson, Michael Pittman. I mean, Henry Ruggs didn't do as good, but there were a lot of
fantastic class. And I think we're going to see a lot of the same this year. I think it's not going to change. The passing game's just evolved within the NFL to a point where these college receivers are coming in NFL ready. So that's my. I think trying to hit range of outcomes with those guys isn't the worst idea, and it helps if you want to draft Rodgers. But I get with every other QB in that range, I have no interest. If I already draft a tier 1 QB like Kyler Mahomes.
So I'm on my last pick here, and I need one more. I just drafted my backup tight end, Ferkser, who's pretty much free.
Mm-hmm.
And I need my last wide receiver. Oops. Oh.
Yep, there you go. So have you guys watched or done anything with Pat Freiermuth, that tight end that plays for Pittsburgh? He's out of Iowa.
Yep.
I think he's going to be a baller.
I've tried draft.
Yeah, I just took him in the 15th round, and he was playing above Eric Ebron when Ben was playing with the starters. Ben was targeting him early and often. He caught both touchdowns from Ben. I think Freiermuth's a steal late in this draft, I think.
Tyler Kroft, too, I think, for tight ends.
Yeah.
I was wondering where he went in this draft. I was planning on getting him late.
Freiermuth?
15th?
Yeah, I took him right. He's my third tight end. I've been looking at him. He's been dropping down the board, and I figured I could get him late.
I will say, too, one other thing we didn't talk about was it's not a big thing, but Rashad Perriman got cut.
Yeah.
I think everyone was assuming that Detroit was going to he was going to be one of the starters for Detroit, and he gets cut. So now it's Tyrell Williams and
Aroma St. Brown.
Yeah, Aroma St. Brown kind of step into bigger roles on that team. So they're much better picks now. I didn't see exactly where Tyrell Williams, who I know was going way late in drafts. I'm sure he was still, not too far, but I'm sure he went a little ahead of what he was doing. But he's probably still pretty good value just because even though Detroit's not the best offense to target, it's still going to have at least one okay receiver. I mean, they're not going to be as great of a football team, I don't think. So they're going to have to throw, and someone's going to benefit, whether it's the rookie or Tyrell Williams, but one of those guys for sure will. So make sure to look out if you can get a value on a starting receiver, a number one. It's not a bad way to go about it.
I got my guy Adam Humphries with the second to last pick. I think he's a steal late in this draft. He's got good chemistry with Fitzpatrick, and I think there's maybe 2 or 3 weeks this year where he pops in the optimal.
Yeah, it's sneaky. That's sneaky. Don't mind that.
I think a couple of these guys fell
sneaky
asleep.
Guy.
Well, the one guy took Irv
We're just
Smith.
waiting for the clock to tick down.
This Beandog guy, he took Irv Smith just a little bit ago.
Right.
All right, so I guess we can review the teams here. Snyder, you drafted first out of all of us. You got Lamar Jackson and Sam Darnold as your quarterbacks. For running back, you went Dalvin Cook, Trey Sermon, Myles Gaskin, Zach Moss, and Nyheim Hines. Wide receiver, CeeDee Lamb, Keenan Allen, Adam Thielen, Darnell Mooney, Elijah Moore, Jacoby Myers, KJ Hamler, and Adam Humphries.
God, those sounded so good until Darnell Mooney. Darnell Mooney.
I don't mind him. I mean, I feel like I got a value with him. I got him at pick 95. I
You
think
got
that's
a
good spot.
value. Don't let him rattle you, Snyder.
Snyder, Darnell Mooney. Oh,
he's
the
nuts.
I should have just said who.
And then you triple tight end with Cook, Henry, and Freiermuth. So
I like the triple tight end. It's
When I had to wait that long, I figured I had to get 3, just hoping one of them could pop out like 10 to 12 points a week.
I went 3 too.
So Snyder, I noticed there's no stacking here. Is that just because?
Yeah, just mainly because I took Lamar. Yeah, I took Lamar, so I didn't really feel like stacking him, and I never really seen the right guys at the right time to draft with him.
Yeah.
That's another good thing to mention too. Like Snyder just said, when you take those running quarterbacks, I don't think it's as important to have to stack with them specifically, which is another reason why I love the running quarterbacks in these formats too, because you don't really need to stack them. They get so much done with their legs that, it's not as important. So I do like that idea, especially with the Lamar type. You don't need to get a Hollywood Brown. Would be nice to have a Mark Andrews, but you don't need him.
Yeah, that's like if I start wide receiver heavy in the beginning of the draft, and if I got Diggs or Tyreek, but I didn't end up with, Josh Allen, then I'm targeting Lamar Jackson at that point if I don't have Hopkins, because it just, I want to get one of those running quarterbacks in that 5th round, but it doesn't always work out the way that you want to as far as stacks go. So Lamar Jackson's a good fallback on those guys.
I like the non-stack build because so many people force stacks rather than letting it come organically. And I just think that not stacking is a way to differentiate construction in this, because
that is the ultimate way to differentiate.
Yeah.
You don't have to. And I think people always force it. And it's
100%.
It's like the way of thinking where it's like, okay, everyone's telling you how to do something the same way. And so
it's extreme groupthink that you need to stack every which way.
If everyone's telling
so
you how to do it the
leverageable.
same way, then your team's going to be similar. Like if you want a Seattle stack, like your team's going to be similar to those teams. Whereas if you do something different, it's going to be different. And most people just lean to the groupthink. They just lean to, I have to stack in best ball. I'm sorry, but a lot of the guys who tout it, they've never actually won in best ball. That's the truth.
No one's won in best. Who's won in? It's been around for like 2 years.
That's what I mean.
This game hasn't been solved.
It's so fresh and so new that it's not like the ultimate for sure thing. Like this is how you have to do it, and I think people just get pulled into that from all this talk. There's no rules. Don't play this game and think like you need specific rules and you have to follow them. That's not how it should work. You should be drafting the best available guys that you think And in my opinion, you should be focused more on offenses and offenses that are high-powered, offenses that score a ton of points, and focus on how you draft from a positional standpoint, like where you draft running backs and where you draft wide receivers and stuff like that. Not drafting 2 quarterbacks too high up, right? Those type of things, as opposed to, oh my God, I need to stack Tampa Bay, or I need to stack the Raiders or Houston. I need, 3 guys from the team, 4 guys from the team, where that's how everyone's doing it. So do something different. Get all the Chiefs guys and get Aaron Rodgers.
Well, I think you don't want to reach on stacks. I think it's good to stack, but I think you don't want to reach on stacks. But I also think that you can go different routes on stacks, like stack weird guys with your quarterback or whatever, like that, that aren't typically either being drafted or, like if you're in the 18th round, like
that's why I like the rookies.
Yeah. I'll show you.
Well, that's why I like the running quarterback, Simon, because what I like to do is if I stack a Kyler or Lamar, I don't mind getting like 3 Chiefs passing options. Because in my mind, what I did is I just got ownership to the Chiefs passing game. I got ownership to the Arizona passing game, right? Like I got ownership from all these weapons to some of the best offenses, in my opinion, in the NFL.
Yeah.
As opposed to taking 1 quarterback and then 3 weapons from that same team. I'm spreading out the ownership to better offenses as opposed to just 1. And people get confused. You should be spreading out. You should be trying to get a few things from a few different good offenses.
Yeah.
That's why I like rookie wideouts, because you get like the Amari Rodgers, for example. Like if I take Rodgers in the 10th, then I can get Amari in the 18th. And that's like if I already had him, if I drafted Javonte in the 1st, like that's my differentiated stack.
And doing that definitely works better with pocket passer weapons, because it's like you don't really want a pocket passer necessarily. If you miss out, if you're building a stack and then you miss out on a pocket passer, it's like, who gives a shit? You got his weapons. You don't need the quarterback. Then you go for the upside on a better, like a running quarterback or a higher upside quarterback, like with that with the weapon stack that you get. But so I ended up with Jalen Hurts and Jameis Winston as my quarterbacks. I went Mostert, Edmonds, Gordon, Michelle, and Jones as my running backs. And then I went Tyreek Hill, Metcalf, McLaurin, Julio Jones, Laviska, Cole Beasley, Traquan, Quez Watkins to get my little stack there, late round stack with Hurts there, and then Deontay Harris to go with my Winston stack. And then I went.
I like Harris a lot.
Yeah, same here. And he's getting undrafted a lot in these drafts too. And he had like the second most snaps behind Callaway in the preseason games. And then I got Andrews and Troutman as my tight ends. Let's see. And then we go to Bobby Gomes. Bobby went with Kyler Murray and Carson Wentz as his quarterbacks. Saquon Barkley, Jonathan Taylor, Gio, Le'Veon Bell, and Jerick McKinnon.
Wait,
what was your Le'Veon there?
Ravens might be signing Lev. That's the word. So
yeah,
there we go.
That's the word.
That'd be the perfect revenge spot there for Lev to come back and stick it right in the Steelers.
I wish I had gone Eckler and grabbed Saquon after.
It does seem like these teams, like they target the guys that used to be in their division a ton.
Yeah,
wide receivers, you went T. Higgins, Antonio Brown, Robbie Anderson, Michael Pittman, Michael Thomas, Rondale Moore, AJ Green, and Dwayne Eskridge. Now, with Thomas, like, what was your what are you hoping? What week do you think he comes back?
I don't know. I think it's going to be quicker than kind of what everyone has expected. And now you add Jameis.
Yeah.
He's just more valuable.
Yeah.
Hopefully they just trade him.
Gotcha. And then you went with so what's your you didn't draft, that was Snyder, never mind. Snyder did Darnell Mooney. I was looking at Rondale Moore and thinking Darnell Mooney for some reason. And then for tight ends you ended up with Goddard, Everett, and Cole Kmet. And I was reading that Everett's becoming one of Russell Wilson's favorite targets. I don't know if you did you hear that blurb, Bobby?
I didn't. I just thought of like the OC there being from the Rams.
Yeah. Taking him with him.
And I've just been doing week 1 research, and I like that game. I like Eskridge.
Yeah,
Everett.
Definitely like Everett as a target there.
Why are you laughing, JSU? Come off
I've
mute.
been doing week 1 research, and I like Eskridge in that game.
I like Eskridge and Everett. But I like the
Somebody
Seattle
get Bobby Gomes a beer. God damn it. Someone refill Bobby Gomes' cup. He drafted Lev Bell, and he likes week 1 Dwayne Eskridge.
Lev Bell's signing with the Ravens.
Bobby's run into some. He's run good pretty much
Bobby's
so far.
ran pure, yeah.
Yeah, he's got a ton of Henderson.
Darrell Henderson in the 4th round. Hate to see
That was a reach.
I had him in the 10th, but you're right. Like I took him. I probably took him a little bit more than I should have after his ADP
just cut
kind
your
of
losses
stuff.
after you got him in the 10th round.
You talked me off not drafting him anymore, so I stopped.
See.
Okay, so
Finally.
JSU, you ended up with Matt Ryan and Kirk Cousins, Nick Chubb, Javonte Williams, Damian Harris, James White, and Tevin Coleman as your running backs. Anything you want to cover there?
No, I love those running backs. I love those late running backs. Tevin Coleman, I've been targeting, because I think he's just the coaching staff. They all know him. They're all familiar with him. He knows the system. I think he's going to get a good shot at early down work, at least in the beginning of the season, and kind of see how it goes, see how that offense goes. But I think he's going to get the first shot. And James White,
I
Sony
love the
Michel,
Patriots double running back, by the way.
Yeah, Sony Michel,
Super sharp.
Him leaving, people see it as a bump to Stevenson, which is why we saw Stevenson in the 12th round. But, not that I don't think he'll play, but I do think James White is for sure in this offense no matter what. And I give him a slight little bump too with no Sony. And so him and Damian Harris are going to play majority of this backfield, at least the start, in my opinion. And so I think that they're a perfect combo because James White's not taking Damian Harris off the field, right? Like James White's going to get his specific package of plays and snaps and third down, and Damian Harris is going to get his, right? They don't affect each other. And Simon, we've talked about this. When you're drafting a backfield, you're not drafting – you want two guys that are going to play and have their roles. You don't want a guy that is necessarily reliant on the other guy tearing his ACL to get on the field. There's a difference in drafting the backfield. And I think James White and Damian Harris is the perfect example of both these guys have a role in this offense, and they're not going to take away from each other's roles, right? They're just going to play their roles. They're going to get their time no matter what. And, yeah, if someone goes down, could Damian Harris be a three-down back? He could. James White couldn't, though. He's going to get his snaps regardless, and Ramondre Stevenson would just plug in for James White. You know what I mean? So I think where they're going –
I think J.J. Taylor plugs in for James White. But I think that backfield is legitimately the most stacked backfield. Top 5. It's going to be a top 5 backfield in the league.
They got rid of Sony Michel basically.
They're going to run all over.
That's a good call. J.J. Taylor might just plug in for James White if James White got hurt.
But I'm not discrediting the James White Harris. I think if you're drafting 2 running backs from the same team, the Patriots backfield is the best backfield to do that for him. In my opinion, I just think they're going to pound it. Absolutely pound it.
Oh,
did you say Stevenson went in the 12th round?
Yeah, 12. Yeah.
Holy shit! I didn't even see that. But that's I'm surprised.
How long do you guys think it takes until Mac Jones gets in there? I mean, he looks so much better.
Yeah.
Just that offense just flows so much better when he's in there versus when Cam's in there.
He can actually throw the ball.
If Mac gets in there, JSU's looking good with these running backs. Yeah. He targeted James White like 6 times the first game and like 7 times the second preseason game.
He's got that swagger too. He's cool, calm, confident. He's just coming out there. He's got everything. It seems like he's just back there in Alabama again.
I do like how he looks in the pocket.
Mm-hmm.
His thing is going to be he's got to learn, and it's going to take,
to
years.
Feel in the
Hopefully
pocket.
he will. But I think he needs to watch more of Brady and how he just
Slides.
Brady can't move, right? But he slides in the pocket and somehow avoids and has great awareness for the pass rush around him. Better than almost any quarterback. He just has that feel and knack in the middle of chaos coming at him from both sides, right? He just steps right in there. He can move side to side and just deliver a ball. In Mac Jones, you can see he's comfortable in the pocket when he drops back, but once that pressure comes, he's not yet got that whole awareness where he can just kind of slide to the side and then make a throw. He's trying to move. He's trying to move forward. And when you move forward, it's harder to do because you still got the D-line coming at you, and he's got to try and go in between them, and then he gets tripped up. It just doesn't work. He needs to learn how to slide to the side and then make a throw and keep his eyes down the field. If he learns that, I think he could be good.
Yeah.
Brady's the most mobile, non-mobile quarterback in the league. But yeah, I think that you're totally right. Like Mac Jones, it seems like he doesn't have his footwork.
I just picture him running the 40, Bobby. Every time I think of Brady and like mobility or running, I just picture his like him running a 40. Like
it's true though how he slides around. Like his feet are so good in the pocket. Like that's what Mac Jones has to work. He's a rookie though, so
that's another one though. I wouldn't be surprised if Mac Jones, got his start week 1. If Cam Newton pissed off management with the COVID mix-up that he had recently, so I know that they weren't happy with him at all after that, and with Belichick,
let Mac play.
They're gonna run if Mac Jones is starting. They're taking like the same approach that JSU thinks that San Fran's gonna take with Trey Lance. They're gonna absolutely pound the football.
Yeah, that's definitely more of a
And again, though, those are the offenses you want to target. You want to target those offenses from a running standpoint that are just going to lean heavy on the backs.
If you're taking the 2 backs, you're talking about, correct? That's the context, yeah.
Yes.
So
I'm in 100% agreement.
So wide receivers, JSU went Calvin Ridley, Mike Evans, Nicole Hardman, Brandon Cooks, Henry Ruggs, Terence Marshall, Jalen Reagor, Christian Kirk, and Hunter Renfrow. And with those, you took that one. It's almost like you went the anchor wide receiver or hero wide receiver early, and then you just kind of waited on the position and then just hammered it in those late middle rounds almost.
Yeah, that's where I'm trying to get the bulk of my receivers from because I think Bobby talked about it, and I kind of agree. Like those are the risk reward type, high ceiling type receivers that are really hard to project out. A lot of them, whether they're new roles, younger guys, rookies, guys that are stepping into new roles, and I think that if someone told me that at the end of the year, Henry Ruggs somehow just popped off this season for 1,000 yards and 8 or 9 touchdowns, I honestly wouldn't be shocked. You know what I mean? Terence Marshall. If someone told me that dude ended up being the leading receiver for the Carolina Panthers, honestly wouldn't be shocked. I think he's got that type of potential to kind of overcome, kind of like a Justin Jefferson did, where, everyone thought Adam Thielen was just the top dog, and Justin Jefferson kind of showed by the end of that year that, hey, no, it's me. You know what I mean? I'm really good. I think Terence Marshall has that in him, and Jalen Reagor's another guy that I think he's in that number one role where everyone thinks like it's Devontae Smith, but Hurts and Reagor kind of had a nice little rapport from last year.
Yeah.
And Reagor, his problem was coming into camp, he was out of friggin' shape. So the coaches were pissed at him. He failed his, conditioning test or whatever it was, and he had to pass it and all that stuff. So, of course, when a guy comes in that out of shape, no one's going to be happy with him. I'm sure he wasn't happy with himself. He also was dealing with a bunch of personal stuff, I'm pretty sure. So
yeah, he had a friend of his died or something, childhood friend.
So, all that to put together that he's starting to round into form, it seems like. He's starting to get a little better, and I think that is going to help him. And I think he could be the number one guy there.
Yeah, and so I'm with you on that. As an Eagles fan, tracking that stuff a little more closely. Another thing with Reagor too is last season he started off the season injured, and then he got hurt because he tried to play through it. He got hurt again, and he missed a bunch of games, so he was out of rhythm from the start over in Philly. And this season, apart from the personal leave that he's had, he's been on point, with Jalen Hurts. He's been getting a lot of good buzz recently since he's gotten back in there.
Sorry.
So, yeah.
Oh no, I was gonna say you're an Eagles fan. I wouldn't have expected it with the temperament. I feel like you'd like Santa Claus, just be a nice guy overall. I didn't mean to cut you off. Though. Keep going.
You got to throw the ice balls
Bobby.
at Santa Claus.
You can talk about how good my team is too. You can talk about it if you want.
And then you ended up with Pitts and Ferkser as your tight ends. So good stuff.
Let me see this team. I'm going to analyze it.
All right, here we go.
Simon just read the whole damn team off, and then he goes, "Let me see this team." I analyze it.
The running backs I love. Is Terence Marshall really good? I should be drafting some Terence in these last lineups.
Yes.
I like him.
I don't have enough Terence. Yeah, no. You got a good team, JSU. I don't know if you'll beat my team.
I do.
I don't know if you'll beat my team, but
Terence has been consistently climbing
fucked up
too.
Not picking Nick Chubb and Austin Eckler, buddy.
No, you're probably right.
I want to say that Terence Marshall was going in the 140 range, probably a couple months ago. I think preseason, everybody got to look at him and they realized, oh shit, this dude's for real. I think before, people felt that he was getting buried in that depth chart with Robbie Anderson and DJ Moore and Christian McCaffrey all in line for targets. So
I think a guy like Elijah Moore is in that same mold. I mean, he didn't play in the last preseason game, but in that week 1, I think it was, he caught 4 or 5 passes. I mean, he's got great rapport with Zach Wilson there. I mean, they've shown good chemistry in camps. It's what I've heard from beat writers and such. And he's that guy that came in with a chip on his shoulder. He thought he should have been drafted higher. I mean, he's got all those names written on his bathroom mirror he looks at every day. He's like, I'm going to be the best receiver in this class yet. I'm high on him. I mean,
I like the take. Like the take, Snyder. Earlier on, I didn't want any part of Jets receivers, but Corey Davis, Elijah Moore, and Zach Wilson, hot take. I think he's going to win our Rookie of the Year for quarterback.
Yeah, I bet on him to do that. Yeah, I got him at the plus 1,000 last week.
But the issue is the other issue, the one qualm I would have with them is with like that passing game is it's pretty much like the Trey Lance, Mac Jones. They're just going to run the football, right? Like, but I think Zach Wilson's the purest passer out of all these kids.
I don't think the Jets are going to have that luxury. They're going to have to throw it.
They're going to have to throw. That's a good point, actually. Yeah.
So yeah, I mean Zach Wilson looked like the most competent out of those rookie quarterbacks, I think, like during the preseason at least. So it'd be interesting to see, like as soon as we saw that, like connection with Corey Davis, like those two had a good connection. We've been hearing about the connection with Elijah Moore throughout training camp, and it's like Mims is coming around now. Turns out like he ate some bad seafood and dropped like 20 pounds, and now he's kind of showing up in camp. He got hurt for a little while there, but I wouldn't be. He made the team supposedly, so that's a good sign for Mims. So yeah, there's a lot of young talent on that team.
Yeah, Salah's a good coach too.
Yeah, yep. I think he's the type of coach that's going to win over his players, and they just came from freaking Adam Gase, so like they're the players are like in heaven right now.
Yeah, no doubt.
Boys, we ready to wrap this thing?
Yeah,
up?
you're wrapping it up. We're waiting on you. You gotta close this out. You're the host.
Sorry, I was telling Joey Work about how Kettle Marte hits bombs. And that's
Did he just go yard, Kettle?
Yeah, I think so.
I snuck in some Kettle. I saw your core plays. I got him in my script.
He was the best play on the board. All right. As always, guys, get over to Run Pure Sports. Check us out. If you haven't checked us out already, we have a promo code for our site right now. NFL, was it RPS NFL 15, Simon?
Yep.
Promo code. It'll get you 15% off for life of your subscription. So if you don't cancel your membership or anything like that, you'll get it for 15%.
Uncle T is tracking it, so we got it. It's locked down. We'll always know. We'll always know. He got his notepad and pen. We'll always know who signed up for this 15%. So you guys are golden.
And it's the best deal you're gonna get. So RPS NFL 15 is the promo code for our site. If you haven't yet, get over to Underdog. Check them out. Another promo code we got for them is Run Pure. If you want to get over, get a free $25 and get into this Best Ball Mania 2 draft. Get over there now. Use the promo code Run Pure to sign up for Underdog. And with that, we'll see you guys next time. Good luck in your Underdog contest, specifically Best Ball Mania 2 drafts. And don't draft Gus Edwards in the 4th or 5th round, or I'm going to smack you over the head.
Draft Lev Bell.
Puma Khan, Bobby Gomes, the Millie Maker, and Snyder, the PGA GOAT. We'll see you guys later.